Ooh, what's up, nerds and geeks? My name is what? My name is who? My name is what? My name is OMG WTF LLTWBRB. Yeah. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are playing as the WWF in the year 2001. We are going to be running Monday Night Raw here tonight. We are booking towards Unforgiven. And, yeah. This Raw, I think it's going to be good. But, I don't know. My buddy Chris, he predicts another perfect show, but I don't really know if I get that vibe. But then again, I didn't get that vibe from last week's show. We got a perfect show. So, can we keep it going? By the way, I have installed a new mod pack in here. My boy Snopes, not really my boy, I don't know Snopes personally at all, but my boy Snopes, with his numbers mod over there, or the grading mod, whatever you want to call it, where it shows both the letter and the numbers, so it pleases both of us. I like having the letters and the numbers anyway, both of them showing. I just was waiting to find it, and I finally found it, so good for me. And I know some of you have also been asking to see the numbers, so it also gives us now the more joy to achieve a actual perfect rating, because we haven't had 100 yet, which I believe is the perfect rating. We've only had, I believe, the highest rating we've achieved was on a match, and I'll show you guys maybe after this, or maybe on Sunday Night Heat this week. But I believe it was the triple threat match we had a couple weeks back, which was The Rock going over Jericho and Triple H. I think it got a 96. I'm not quite sure. I forget, honestly. So, well, we got that to look forward to tonight. We also have a couple locker room incidents. We had one negative one here, and it was from the King, not Chris Benoit, not the King of the Ring, but the King, Jerry the King Lawler, who, sorry, I'm fixing my mic here. It was a little close to my mouth. He got in a heated argument with a fan before the show, and he had to be restrained before things got physical. So I got a little heated, nerds and geeks, and I gave him a stern warning. I said, "Look here, you motherfucker," you know, pretty much gave him a stern warning. I said, "This shit can't happen." And King, with his cocky ego, because he's the king of one area, not even a whole area, one area, got cocky on me. So nothing happened out of it. But we had a couple positive things. Hold on, I think I got a cough, so I'm going to try to do that real quick. We're good? We're good? Alright, so we had a couple positive things here. First things first, Trish Stratus, the manager of Test and Albert, the current WWF Tag Team Champions, lifted the locker room when she created a silly game, and it became popular backstage. I don't know what this silly game could have been. I have no idea. But again, something similar to Tori Wilson a couple weeks back. We got a kind of a perverted locker room here. I mean, our sex appeal is up high. Fans like seeing, the women look good. They like TNA. Our champions are named TNA. So I think they were just being nice and just wanted to hang out with Trish because she was looking good. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that maybe it was a fun game. Who knows? But I mean, if I know my locker room, that's all I'm saying. Either way, Jamie Noble, resident jobber, brought pizza for the locker room. That made everyone happy. That would have made me happy. I won't lie. Pizza's great, so good on you, Jamie. And of course, us, Vince McMahon, passing along tips to our proteges. We passed along tips on working as a heel to Shane, and psychology onto Steph. Why Steph would ever need psychology is beyond me. It's not like I plan on using her in a match anytime soon. In fact, I don't think she is even capable of a match. But whatever. Let's go ahead and run this show. We have a couple pre-show match here. Ooh, who would have thought this would have done that good? Not me. We got a C-, 58 C- here. As you see, here's the new mod. And a pre-show bout that had subpar wrestling and little heat Chavo Guerrero Jr. goes on to defeat Funaki in 7 minutes, 17 seconds with pinfall. Chavo with the 59, Funaki with the 46. This did surprisingly well. I'm very surprised with this match. I did not think it would do this well at all. Should we? We're gonna have to change him on Nitro because technically he's now joined side with Paul Heyman and all them. So we're gonna have to change him soon. Not quite yet though. Yes. We then wow, this did really well. Whew, is this his best match now? It could be. We'll have to check that. We go to a 73 B- in a pre-show bout that had decent wrestling, but not much weight and heat. Mark Jindrak defeating Dean Malenko with the Mark of Perfection in 7 minutes, 57 seconds. Regal did some good work. Ooh, look at this. Mark Jindrak and Dean Malenko have pretty good chemistry in the lift of the match. Something we may have to revisit a couple times, you know. Of course, we already know about that. Jindrak with the 62, Malenko with the 70. This could be good. I mean, Mark Jindrak's kind of our pet project here, along with Rhino, but Rhino's a little bit more promising, where Mark Jindrak's kind of more of a challenge, I guess. He's the protege of The Undertaker, so that's why he's kind of my pet project. And the fact that someone of Dean Malenko's caliber, because Dean Malenko's a great wrestler, the fact that him and him have good chemistry can mean that Malenko can also pass along some of maybe his skills over to Jindrak. So I might revisit this. Definitely. Wow, good job, guys. I think that might be his best match. It's a shame that was on the pre-show. And then we end the pre-show match with another great match, but that was a little more to be expected. We go to a 77B here, solid B, and a pre-show bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Team Wreck, Edge, Christian, and Kurt Angle defeating Team WCW, comprised of Chris Benoit, Lance Storm, the WCW Canadian Champion Lance Storm, and the WCW United States Intercontinental Champion Chris Benoit, and Chuck Palumbo in 11 minutes, 35 seconds when Edge defeated Lance Storm with the spear after a distraction from Raven. So even though you saw on the pre-show here, Raven still kind of playing those mind games with Lance Storm here. We saw kind of started a feud between those two. I'd imagine Lance Storm maybe getting ready to put away his rival, and that leads to, Raven maybe coming out. I don't know if the lights turn out. Raven just appears, crawls out of the ring. Raven in the crowd. That's what I would say. Raven's in the crowd, and he just kind of stands up on the barricade and does the Raven taunt. And Lance Storm's like, what the fuck are you doing? Distracted, like, what the hell is that? He's, ready to hit the last call super kick. Turns around, spear from Edge. 1, 2, 3, and Edge gets the victory. Kurt Angle with a 91. Christian with a 75. Edge with an 80. Palumbo with a 70, Storm with a 77, and Benoit with a 93. So Palumbo was the weakest, but he's getting there. Edge is improving in technical, Christian's improving in performance, and Angle's improving in technical. So that's all right. So we're going to start off the show. We started off with an A-star here, 96 rating. Monday Night Raw opens up with The Undertaker. He's racing down to the ring on his bike. Once in the ring, he takes the ring. And once again, courtesy to my boy Chris for writing The Undertaker's promos. He requested, of course, that he wanted to because he just likes doing The Undertaker. I also feel, because his gimmick, his character for wrestling is kind of Undertaker-esque, so he wants to kind of practice for himself as well. So, props to my boy here. I enjoy him. I hope you guys enjoy him as well. Taker takes the mic. He says, this rivalry with me and Giant started at Invasion. It started because he chose to turn his back on his company and aligned himself with Shane in WCW. But what I don't understand is why is Shane promising your giant ass a title shot at my expense? You see, boys, you can't take out the American Badass. Hell, you couldn't take me out when I was the dead man. He then gets out of the ring. He walks over to good old JR and he says, JR, what does it you say that I've caused? And then JR says, a decade of destruction. Oh, that's a horrible JR. Decade of destruction. That's still a horrible JR, but, whatever. We'll move on. That's right, a decade of destruction. Giant, you will end up like the rest before you. If you get involved in my business one more time, Giant, if you play me at Unforgiven, I'm gonna take your big nasty ass to hell, and I will make your ass famous. That's when we have the Steiner Brothers music interrupt again. Once again, the Steiner Brothers interrupting The Undertaker. Scott comes out and takes the mic. I don't have any ice with me. I know someone not requested, but suggested that I, suck on an ice cube before doing Scott Steiner's voice. I want to try it one time. I always forget when I start recording. Either way, Steiner says, "Dead man!" I have horrible, it's late. Let me remind you that too, so I'm a little tired, I guess. "Dead man, just shut up! Every single week, you come out here, you talk all this bull crap, when everyone here knows you can't. You can't back any of it up." I guess that pause was kind of, it fit Scott Steiner a little bit, whatever. And then Taker, "I sure as hell seemed to back it up last week when I whooped you and your brother's stupid ass." And then Scott says, "Yeah, but that was Rick. And no offense, Rick, but Rick ain't no big Papa Pump." And then Taker replies, "Well then come and step in my yard, big Papa Pump, because we can settle this. I'm not one for words, and obviously you aren't either." Kind of, poking a little fun at Scott Steiner stuttering, even though I don't really do it justice. And then Scott says, "You want me? You want to face Freakzilla? You want to face the big bad booty daddy? You're on! And when I whoop your ass tonight, then Shane will give me Giant's damn title shot, and I can whoop Booker T's ass and get my WCW title back. I'll see your dead ass tonight." And that sets up our main event, which will be The Undertaker battling Big Papa Pump, Freakzilla, the big booty daddy, Scott Steiner. So we saw Taker battle Rick last week. This time we'll see him take on the other Steiner brother. Taker, of course, clearly enjoyed having his freedom of going off script. Scott Steiner worked the crowd well. Good on them both. Got the crowd off to a strong start. Angle, whatever. Crowd hotter, show off to a strong start. Taker looked good. Steiner kind of, blah, 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 blah. Steiner came across well. And the Taker Giant story continues along, gaining heat. We move on to the next segment. Our opening match of the night gets us a solid B, 78 rating here. In a bout that had decent wrestling, but not much weight and heat. Devon Dudley and Bubba Ray Dudley, the Dudley Boys, going on to defeat Chronic in 8 minutes, 28 seconds, when Bubba Ray Dudley defeated Brian Adams with the 3D. Of course, the Dudleys are showing excellent chemistry together. Devon with an 82, Bubba with an 85, Adams with a 56, and Clark with a 58. So, Bubba was the superior athlete here. Athlete. Sorry, my throat is acting up tonight. Gotta keep clearing it. We then move on to another solid B here with a 78 rating. We have, after the match here, of course, Dudley Boys, they just won the match, but Scott and Rick, who we just saw not too long ago, come back down to the ring, and they jump the Dudley Boys, payback for last week after the Dudleys, came down and prevented Scott and Rick from beating down on The Undertaker. They're beating him down. They lock in the Steiner recliners, and Scott's just screaming, "This is going to be you, Taker. This is going to be you, dead man," stuff like that, screaming pretty much at The Undertaker, bragging that later tonight he's going to put him down like they're putting the Dudleys down right now. Of course, Scott Steiner, I can't really say Steiner because they're both. Scott Steiner came across well, and the Dudley Boys, Steiner Brothers advanced here. Moving on to the next segment, we go to a 99 A-star here. Hell yeah. We're backstage in Commissioner Foley's office, which this week is in the janitor's closet, when Triple H and Stephanie, they open up the door and they see him sitting in a school desk, the weird school desk that kind of it has the little, you're in middle school, you know what I'm talking about. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. Either way, Foley says, "Oh, hey guys, I'm actually glad you're here. You see, my normal table wouldn't fit in here, so I borrowed a desk from a middle school. And, well, they don't build these things big enough for a man my size. And it would seem I've got myself stuck." Triple H then says, "Well, that sucks for you, doesn't it? Look, Foley, I'm not here to play your idiotic games. I'm here for one reason, and one reason only. At King of the Ring, I was screwed by Rhino. and the past 2 weeks I've been screwed by Steve Austin. I don't give a damn what the record book says. You're going to put me in that title match at Unforgiven. Foley then responds, well, you see, Triple H, you may not care what the record book says, but I do. And it says that not only did you lose your last 2 championship matches against Stone Cold Steve Austin, but you've also lost your 2 number 1 contender matches that I gave you. So no! Hold on, we gotta move on here. I won't be putting you in that title match at Unforgiven, and there isn't anything you can do to change my mind, not even if you help me out of this chair. Although it would be greatly appreciated. That's when Triple H and Stephanie just kind of, pissed off that Foley's denying them. They just kind of slammed the door on him and, walking away, and Foley's just like, Hunter! Steph! Help! Someone help! And, little fun segment there of Mick Foley. He got stuck in a middle school desk. He should have known it wasn't going to be big enough for him, but he didn't. Also, Triple H, still pissed that he's not in that title match. Of course, we already know it started off with just The Rock. Now Jericho's in it. Triple H says, why not just add me in the match? Foley says, you lost to Austin twice now. 3 times if you want to count Undertaker and Kane, the Fatal 4-Way match that we had at Judgment Day. And then you lost The Rock. And then you lost to Jericho. Why should you get a title match? And Triple H still stands by, I was screwed. I haven't gotten my fair shot. Either way, got the crowd hotter. Triple H was good. And storylines advancing here. 99, so close to 100. We then move on to our next segment. We have had a 100 angle, just not a match, by the way. Our next segment, we go to a B- rating, 73. It's just a recap, freestyle. I didn't really write anything here. ECW Invasion recap, pretty much showing what happened on Nitro, where Paul Heyman came out and told Shane McMahon that this is an invasion. And then we then saw Rob Van Dam, Sabu, Dreamer, Scott Steiner all appear. Scott Steiner. That's funny. I like how I was just going off and I said it so nonchalantly, and then I realized, what? That's supposed to be Sandman, not Scott Steiner, but whatever. And then we go to Diamond Dallas Page and Booker T, and just pretty much recapping what we saw. Then we just go to another 73 B- here, where it's just Heyman just not even really psyching it up. It's called Psyching Up Team ECW, but it's literally a minute long, just showing it before commercial break, pretty much. Heyman talking to all 4 of them as we're going to see them in action for the first time ever next. As Vince McMahon has given him this chance to shine, we then move on to the match. Okay, I didn't click it. 2-8. Wow, that's not too bad. Not too bad. A C- 55 here. And about that had subpar wrestling and little heat. Team ECW, Rob Van Dam, Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, and Sandman defeat Jerry Lynn, Big Boss Man, Jamie Noble, and Just Incredible in 7 minutes, 52 seconds, when Rob Van Dam defeated Jamie Noble with the split-legged moonsault. Damn it, I thought I made it Big Boss Man, but I guess I didn't. And it's not the 5-star fog splash. There you go. It was the split-legged moonsault, so we might have to change that. Either way, Team ECW getting their victory, and the main star, we all know who that is, RVD, shining bright here. Like the diamond he is. Boss Man was off his game. Sandman with a 42, probably the weakest. Dreamer with a 47. Sabu with a 63. RVD with a 61. So Sabu was superior? Wow. Was he the best in the match? He was. Good. Sabu looking strong tonight. Look at me talking about RVD being the star, and Sabu's like, hey, what about me, man? I'm 2 points better than him, technically. Either way, Boss Man with the 56, Jerry Lynn with the 50, Credible with the 48, and Jamie Noble with the 50. Jamie Noble's better than Just Incredible, and Sandman. And lost the heat for the Sandman storyline, though. Which is fine. Sabu's improving in Rumble, Sandman's improving in Rumble, and Credible's improving in performance, and hopefully Sandman wasn't drunk. Good! Wow. I did not expect this to do this well. We go to a 89A. It's more like a B+, but I guess, 2's grading's a little weird. 89A, Trish Stratus, she's backstage. Of course, she's just with a couple female employees, random, maybe makeup artists, who cares? That's when Lord Steven Regal approaches, and I'm going to take a drink real quick. And he says, well, 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 if it isn't the she-devil Trish Stratus. I was hoping I'd run into you today, because I've got a friendly challenge for you. You see, in just a few weeks, our two teams will do battle over the prestigious WWF Tag Team Championships. And while your boys may have had a good run, I'm afraid it's going to come to an end when my men defeat your boys for those WWF Tag Team titles. And we bring them back to Mr. Shane McMahon in World Championship Wrestling. And then Trish just goes, yeah, whatever. You said you had a challenge, so can you get on with it? And Regal says, yes. If you choose to accept, then tonight Mr. Albert will go one-on-one against Mr. Stasiak, and then this week on Nitro, Mr. Test will do battle against Mr. Jindrak. Sort of a preview for things to come. And then that's when Test and Albert walk behind Trish, kind of approaching, and, they're just kind of like cracking in her knuckles and looking all intimidating. And Trish says, we'd love to accept your challenge, Regal, and we look forward to it. Good luck. And that sets up one of our matches tonight, as we will see Albert going at one-on-one against Shawn Stasiak. And then we also know this week on Nitro, so I guess we can go ahead and book it in. I always forget, it's WCW, so it's going to be like above it. Duh. I always forget it's above Nitro. There we go. We can go ahead and book in on this week's Nitro that we will see Test, not Teddy Long, and definitely not Terry, battle Mark Jindrak. So, Test. Let's go ahead and do this, because, me, I like doing it. Boom. Trish performed poorly. Wow. I'm having a hard time pronouncing everything tonight. And it did gain heat for the TNA Power, I would imagine. Geez, it's an A segment. So despite performing poorly, it still did well. I wonder why. Is it really because of these two? I think I based them on Menace. Does it tell me somewhere? Not really. Hold on. We can go here. People are liking this. Look at this. They're in love. They're in love with Test and Albert. They love it. We then go to another 89A. Hell yes. We're backstage in the locker room with Stephanie McMahon, Helmsley, and Triple H. And Triple H is angry, and he's like, damn that Foley. I'm going to make him regret this. I was screwed. I never got my damn fair shot at Austin. I don't know what the hell your dad was thinking when he put Foley in charge. And then that's when Steph says, hey, yeah, but, that gives me an idea. You see, if we can't get Foley to give you your rightful title match, then we'll just have to go above his head to someone who will. I'll be back. And just a short little segment here, but we'll get to that in a few. Stephanie, of course, she loves going off script, and she uses that creative control that I guess I gave her to always make sure she goes off script, but this time she enjoyed it. She actually did good, so finally, thank you. And Triple H, of course, came across well. We then move on to another segment here, our friendly challenge, as Regal put it. C plus 68. It's alright. It's not too bad. Shawn Stasiak's not the best in there, so we're building him up, but it definitely, as we can see, it definitely lost us heat for the storyline after such a powerful angle. We have a decent match here. Albert going on to defeat Shawn Stasiak in 10 minutes, 9 seconds with the flying leg drop. Regal did some good work ringside. Stasiak getting better at his gimmick. A lack of selling, unfortunately, and a lack of psychology. Shawn Stasiak with the 64. Albert with the 73. It was alright. We then move on to a 93A here. Solid A. We're backstage. We're in Vince McMahon's office. And that's when Stephanie walks in. She says, Daddy, I need a huge favor from you. And then Vince goes, oh boy, hold on. We're definitely going to need a drink for this. What can I do for you, pumpkin? And then Steph says, well, you see, Hunter has worked so hard to get his title shots, and Foley keeps making him jump hoop through hoop through hoop through hoop to get even a shot at Austin. And anytime he does, Austin keeps cheating. And it's just so unfair, Daddy, and now Foley won't give Hunter his title shot anymore. And then Vince says, well, he did lose to Rock and Jericho. And besides, why should I help you two? Wasn't it you who said you were waiting for Shane and I to kill each other so you can take over? And then Stephanie says, Daddy, if you do this, then Hunter and I will join your side. And when he wins the WWF World title, it'll be me and him leading the battle for you against Shane in WCW. Vince sits there, he thinks for a second, and he puts a smile on his face and he says, all right, Pumpkin, I'll go talk to Foley, and I'll have him put Hunter in the match. And it seems like Stephanie is going to get her way, but as she loves getting her way, this time it didn't help me, as she didn't follow the script well. Come on, Steph, why do you gotta do this to me? Vince, of course, us, performed well, so good on us. Thank you, Stephanie, for underperforming, by the way. Moving on to the next segment, we go to an A-star, 100 rating, highlight reel, baby. The ring is set up for the highlight reel. Out comes Chris Jericho. Once in the ring, he takes the mic and he says, welcome everybody to Raw is Jericho! And more importantly, welcome to the second ever episode of the highlight reel, baby! Now on our last show, things didn't go that well. But today is a different day, and today's a different episode. Now my guests tonight have formed some sort of freaky father-son relationship, despite being grown men, of course. Hell, one of them just so happens to be my opponent at Unforgiven. Ladies and gentlemen, the soon-to-be former WWF champion, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and his protege, Rhino. And then out comes Austin and Rhino. They make themselves comfortable, and Austin says, now, Steve, at Unforgiven, you face me, but that's when Austin interrupts him, and he says, whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you say former world champion? Soon to be? Ah, I see, that's funny. You think at Unforgiven, this is a horrible Austin right now, that you're going to beat, Stone Cold. You think you're going to take this title away from Stone Cold. You think because it's a triple threat match, do you have a chance to beat Stone Cold? Well, I don't mean to play spoiler kid, but because at Unforgiven, Stone Cold is walking in to Unforgiven with 2 cans of whoop ass. One for you and one for The Rock. And he's walking out still your WWF champion. Horrible Austin tonight, by the way. Rock's music plays, and out comes the Great One. He stands at top of the entryway, and he says, you got 2 cans, Steve? 2? Well, I'll tell you what you can do with those 2 cans. You see, I can see, everyone else can see, hell, even Chris Jericho can see through that jungle of his hair, on his head he calls hair, that you and Rhino have gotten pretty close. A little too close. You know, Steve, by the way, where's Deborah? You know, Steve, never mind. Back to the cans. You see, you and Rhino can open those cans. Those nice and cold cans of whoop-ass. You take a sip, maybe take a sip of each other's, shine them up real nice, then stick them straight up each other's candy asses. Because at Unforgiven, The Rock is laying the smackdown on your ass, walking out the new WWF champion, and leading the WWF into this war with WCW, something you, Stone Cold, are too afraid to do. And then Jericho says, don't forget about me, Dwayne. I'm in this match too, you know. And then Rock says, don't worry, Chris Jericho. Rock starts walking towards the ring now, and he says, The Rock could never forget about you, Chris Jericho. I mean, how could The Rock forget about his #1 fan? Jericho says, I'm not a fan of you, you jabroni. And then Rock says, could have fooled The Rock with how often you steal and copy him. First it was about leading the WWF to victory against WCW. Once The Rock took the lead, all of a sudden Blondie wanted the lead. Then it came to the WCW Championship. First The Rock got a shot, then Chris Jericho wanted a shot. And now you're doing the same damn thing with the WWF Championship. Hell, you just used one of my catchphrases. You come out here telling your jokes, you try to be funny, trying to get the people behind you. You know, Chris, I've noted this, this new influx of Canadian talent lately here in the WWF. We've got the Canadian crippler Chris Benoit, the Canadian champion Lance Storm, the Canadian Catch, Trish Stratus, the Canadian Comedians Edge and Christian, and then the Canadian Copycat, Chris Jericho, because you want to be The Rock so bad, Chris Jericho, and it's getting embarrassing how unoriginal you've gotten. Hell, you even stole the great Roddy Piper's idea with this highlight reel crap. And then that's when Jericho and Rock's of course now in the ring, they get in each other's faces, they're exchanging words, things are getting intense, and that's when Stone Cold Steve Austin, he turns Chris Jericho around, kicks him in the gut, hits the stunner on him. He then goes after The Rock, tries to get him. Rock catches his leg, pulls him in, looks like he's going for the rock bottom, but Rhino comes in handy again, and gore to The Rock, taking Rock out. And once again, Jericho and Rock are laying there as Stone Cold Steve Austin and Rhino stand tall, not to end off the show, but to end the highlight reel. And once again, things not going too well for Chris Jericho on his show. Of course, Jerry Lawler was weak. Thanks a lot. Austin was a real star. Rock looked good. Everything went well, I think. Yes. We then move on to another solid A here, 91 rating. We're backstage once again in Commissioner Foley's office, the janitor's closet. That's when Mr. McMahon approaches the door, and then he opens it and he says, Mick, Mick, we need to talk. What the hell are you doing? Foley says, Mr. McMahon, thank God you're here. You see, I borrowed the middle school desk, and, well, long story short, I'm stuck. Can you help me out? And then Vince says, all right, fine. But first you need to put Triple H in the WWF title match at Unforgiven. Then I'll get some help for you. And then Foley says, I'm sorry, Mr. McMahon, but I can't do that. Triple H lost both his number one contenders matches. It wouldn't look right for me to put him in when he hasn't earned it. We can't play favorites here. And then Vince says, you must have misheard me, Mick, because, I wasn't asking. You will put Triple H in that match at Unforgiven. Hold on real quick, we gotta... And if you don't, then you're fired. Do I make myself clear? And then Foley says, yes, sir. I'll get right on it. And then that confirms it. Triple H indeed gets his way, and I think something a lot of you guys might have seen coming. But once again, the match that was once a one-on-one match that turned triple threat match is now turning into a fatal four-way match as Stone Cold Steve Austin will defend his WWF Championship against The Rock, Triple H, and Chris Jericho. I should have put Triple H last since he was the final person confirmed, but I like it, heel, face. So, there you have it. Steve Austin, champion, and let's go ahead and put WWF Championship. Confirms it. There we got it. 2 official matches confirmed so far. Foley was good. So that's good. We then move to well then again, it looks like they didn't click, but that's a little disappointing for the main event of the show. We go to a 70, is that 76? Yes, 76 B- here, and about that had great heat and good wrestling. The Undertaker defeats Scott Steiner in 15 minutes, 9 seconds when Steiner was disqualified after Rick Steiner ran in and attacked The Undertaker. So Taker maybe setting up for a last ride, has him set up in the position, and that's when Rick Steiner hits him from behind, leading into the DQ, and there you have it. Unfortunately, Scott and Taker don't click, and it made for an awkward bout, so that's a little disappointing. Not enough selling shown as well here. Taker with an 84, Scott with a 79. That's definitely a little disappointing that these guys didn't click here. Scott, of course, improving in Rumble as well, so good on him. We end off Raw. Yeah, I didn't think this would get the perfect rating. I thought I was right, because this definitely is not getting a perfect rating. We start off Raw, or not start off Raw, while we end Raw with a 88 B+ here. Scott and Rick Steiner, they continue to beat down on The Undertaker, and that leads to Bubba Ray Dudley and Devon Dudley racing down to the ring to once again come to the dead man's aid. The two teams of brothers begin the brawl. We got the Dudleys taking on the Steiners, and that's when the Giants music hits, and down comes the man formerly known as the Big Show. The Dudleys go right after him right away because, they assumes they're coming after us. Giant takes them out with ease, picks them both up, double choke slam, takes both Dudleys out. And then that's when the Giant and the Steiner brothers, they turn their attention towards the Undertaker, and then Giant looks over at Rick, and he just swings at him, taking him down with the KO punch. Scott Steiner is stunned, and while he's too stunned, Scott Steiner gets caught off guard, and Giant grabs him in the throat and choke slams him down. Probably heard what he had to say when he said he was going to take his title shot, and then he turns his attention back to the dead man, beating down on him, tossing him out of the ring, and then hitting a choke slam on him through the announce table to end off the show, and looking strong as well. Shane said he couldn't get a title shot until he ended The Undertaker. He may have just have ended The Undertaker tonight. Giant came out looking excellent. Rick Steiner performed poorly, unfortunately. Undertaker was good. And the Steiners and Dudleys advanced. Gained heat as well. We end off the show. Didn't quite get the perfect rating, so our streak is over. But we got a 90A rating here, and it increased our popularity in 9 regions. So you still can't complain. Got a couple decisions here, though, unfortunately. What do we got here? What do we got? So let's look at this stuff. Look at this. I'm unhappy with how I've been used recently. I need some success to regain some momentum. You think I care, Bryan Adams? Because I don't. Oh boy, here's test. Sean Stasiak can't sell anything worth a damn, in my opinion. He needs to learn how to work. Test, look at him. Thinks his opinion matters. It might. Look at Ric Flair. Bryan Adams doesn't connect with the fans. You should probably write him off. I agree. Chris Jericho. Oh, look at Chris Jericho. Jamie Noble is turning into a good worker. He's worth getting behind. Jamie Noble. You might. Look at you. What do we got here? Ron Simmons wanting a pay raise. 60. I'll give you a 75 because that'll put you around 15 in. That seems more reasonable than 17 to me right now. Benoit, apparently the best brawler in wrestling today. He's probably the best everything, to be honest. I mean, look at all that. Shit. Benoit's the man. What do we got here? People are just mad, salty as can be. Things are looking good. Look at that. A-star, hell yeah. Is Austin and Triple H A-star as well? Hell yeah. Things are looking good, nerds and geeks. Things are looking good. One thing I wanted to check, was that Mark Jindrak's... Not Mark Jindrak. Oh, yeah, it was. Was that his best match tonight against Dean Malenko? Not what I was looking for. Top 10 matches. Nah, Edge and Christian. Where's Dean Malenko? It's his 10th. Well, that's probably his best singles match, though. Yeah, that's his best singles match, so. Good on you, Mark Jindrak. Good on you. Can we click out of that? That's going to do it, Nerds and Geeks. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor. Leave me a comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't done already. And as always, my name has been OMG, WTF, LOL, FTW, BRB. And I will see you guys for Nitro. So until then, have a great day.